Stop sleeping on Caitlin Clark. Basketball at just 20. She's already rewriting what it means to dominate the WNBA. Injured, out of position, still breaking records. Rookie seasons like hers don't come around often. So let's settle this. Could she already be the greatest point guard we've ever seen? Stick around, because we're about to break it.
Clark is the greatest point guard of all time is not a wild statement to make. If you were saying, give me one season of any point guard in the history of the WNBA at their peak, saying you want rookie Caitlin Clark is not a crazy take. Is it a correct take? That's for you to decide. And I'm not saying if you want peak for peak, there's no player in the history of
peak for peak. Caitlin Clark has a legitimate case as the greatest point guard this sport has ever seen. This isn't exaggeration, and it isn't rookie hype. It's a conclusion drawn from what we've actually watched unfold. The discomfort this claim creates says more about how women's basketball talent is judged than about Clark herself. The debate reignited after Sabrina appeared on a podcast and went on a long rant aimed at Caitlin Clark fans. Her co-host criticized the idea that the league lacked talent before Clark's arrival, and Sabrina echoed that frustration. She wasn't wrong about the disrespect, but what truly mattered got buried in the noise.
It's like you can be a fan, but it's like coming in and saying everybody in the league sucked before this one player, and before this one player is like, obviously that is a bad thing. And by the way, there were a lot of people that said that. Like, to say that, especially coming out of college, that there weren't people that tried to make the argument that Caitlin Clark was already the greatest player of all time. And
yes, some fans came in loud with terrible takes. Yes, certain voices disrespected the players who laid the foundation of this league, and that was undeniably wrong. But here's the part few are willing to admit. The fans who believed Caitlin Clark was already among the world's best while she was still at Iowa were far closer to the truth than those who insisted she would struggle in the WNBA. Look at the narratives we were fed. Gino Orima, Paige Bucher's own coach, questioned whether Paige was built for the league. Emma Meesman suggested she'd have a hard time adjusting. Angel Reese was labeled as someone who might barely survive at the professional level. These weren't random Twitter hot takes. These were respected, influential voices within women's basketball itself.
Gino Orima, Paige's literal coach, said that Paige wasn't built for the WNBA and that Paige was going to struggle. If you said that Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark were the two best players in the world when they were in college, heck, if you tried to argue that Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, and Angel Reese were the three best players in the world, you are closer to the truth, you are closer to reality than the people that said Angel Reese was gonna barely make it in the league, Paige Beckers was too skinny for the league, and Caitlin Clark wasn't built for it. If you said they were the three best players in the world, you're close.
Here's the reality. If you came out of college claiming Caitlin Clark, Paige Buchers, and Angel Reese were already among the best players in the world, you were closer to the truth than the experts insisting they'd struggle. That's simply a fact. Caitlin finished fourth in MVP voting as a rookie, despite battling injuries for half the season. Paige dominated as one of the top guards whenever she stayed healthy. Angel shattered the rookie rebounding record. But let's zoom in on Caitlin, because this is where the debate gets fascinating. Is she the 2024 MVP? Not quite. The season spans 40 games. Wilson and Nappy Sakir had the edge over the full stretch, and that's fair. Yet here's the detail most people overlook about those first 10 games.
The season is a 40-game season, not a 30-game season. So, yeah. The season's 40, not 30, so she wasn't the MVP. But I think I know she finished fourth in MVP voting. How Stewie finished ahead of her in MVP voting in 2024 is beyond me. She was very clearly the third best player that year. Fee and Aja, over the course of the season, yeah, sure. Over the course of the entire season. But Caitlin Clark was the best player post-Olympic break. She looked like the best player in the world. And if we're being completely honest here, Caitlin, before...
Christie sides tried to push Caitlin out of her natural role, running her as a shooting guard alongside Erica Wheeler because Kelsey Mitchell was injured. This wasn't Caitlin struggling to adapt. It was a coaching choice that didn't suit her talents. And even out of position, even battling injuries, she still performed at an elite level. Now, let's put the injuries in perspective. They matter. After the Connecticut game, Caitlin played every match with her leg wrapped. She was never truly 100%. Against Las Vegas, Seattle, and Dallas, she couldn't move freely. Most of the season, she was operating at 70% fitness, and yet, she still finished fourth in MVP voting. She still led the league in assists. She still shattered the rookie scoring record.
Even before the first one, which was after 4 games, she was 75% and she was still top 3 probably in MVP voting at that stage. Like before the very first injury, even after the New York game, she was averaging 22 points, 9.5 assists on crazy shooting splits. It was just when she went back, you could see after the Connecticut game, you could see her. She had her legs wrapped up. She had her leg wrapped up every game after the Connecticut game, whatever, even at the first injury.
Now, imagine Caitlin fully healthy after the Olympic break, with some rest. When the team finally learned how to use her the right way, she looked like the best player in the world. Not just the best rookie, the best, period. And that's with Kelsey Mitchell still returning from injury, a bench that struggled to hold leads, and a coach still figuring out how to maximize her talents. This is the heart of the peak for peak debate. When you ask which point guard you'd want for a season at their absolute peak, talking about Caitlin Clark doesn't sound crazy at all. Was there ever a year when Sue Bird outperformed rookie Caitlin? That's a fair argument. Was there ever a season where Sabrina was better? Again, totally up for debate.
If you were saying, give me one season of any point guard in the history of the WNBA at their peak, saying you want rookie Caitlin Clark is not a crazy take. Is it a correct take? That's for you to decide. And I'm not saying if you want peak for peak, there's no player in the history of fucking basketball you probably want over 2022 or 2022 playoffs Chelsea Gray. Like that is a fact. Like what Chelsea Gray did in those playoffs is just was madness. But if we're being completely honest here, peak.
The only point guard whose peak might surpass Caitlin is 2022 playoff Chelsea Gray. What she did in those playoffs was simply transcendent. But when it comes to regular season dominance, 40 games of elite performance, battling injuries, and even playing out of position, Caitlin Clark's rookie season belongs firmly in the conversation for the greatest point guard season ever. And this isn't about diminishing the legends. It's about acknowledging how the game has evolved. The talent entering the WNBA now is higher than ever. These aren't mid-major players hoping to make a roster. They're elite athletes with top-tier training, coaching, and resources that no previous generation had. Look at college women's basketball today. It's no longer UConn, maybe Tennessee, maybe Notre Dame, and everyone else. Now, 15 teams could legitimately topple the #1 ranked team on any night. Texas looks insane. Iowa State is loaded. Talent is deeper, wider, and more competitive than ever before.
To literally just be, if it was UConn, maybe, and then Tennessee for a while, and then, maybe Notre Dame some years Notre Dame were stacked. But not like it is now. Now you're looking at situations where fucking Iowa State randomly are going to be good, are looking elite. Iowa are looking solid. You're looking maybe at 15 teams who on any given day could beat the #1 ranked team in the nation. And that's not a will. That's not they're better, to say, UConn aren't still the best. They might be. But Texas, this Texas team look absolutely insane. And there's so many teams, so many players that are really, really good. And by the way, we've seen it from drafts. You don't have to go to one of these top schools to be the best player. You don't have to. You have genuinely got really, really good players, maybe not at mid-majors because of the transfer portal, and you have to do 4 years.
This matters because it shows the WNBA's incoming players are already battle-tested against elite competition. Caitlin Clark didn't just dominate weak Big Ten teams. She excelled in a college landscape more competitive than any previous era. The same goes for Paige Bueckers. And Sarah Strong, just 19 years old, is already a top 5 power forward in the world. Not a top 5. Ask me if I'd rather have 19-year-old Sarah Strong or 34-year-old Natasha Howard. I'd take Sarah. Ask if I'd take Sarah over Alyssa Thomas. Factoring in potential injuries and what we saw in the finals when Alyssa struggled to shoot, I might still take Sarah. This isn't disrespecting Alyssa. It's recognizing just how elite Sarah already is. The same goes for Paige Bueckers. How many shooting guards in the WNBA are better than rookie Paige? Maybe Jackie Young. Peak for peak. Would you rather have rookie Paige or any version of Simone Augustus? Not a crazy question. Augustus was legendary. But Paige's mix of size, shooting, and defensive versatility is exactly what modern basketball demands. This is what people miss when they talk about respecting the legends. You can honor Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, and Simone Augustus while also acknowledging that today's generation is more talented. Both can be true. Past players paved the way. Today's players are building on that foundation.